Hi, this is Jasmine Beard from the World Music Online Cultures class. I decided to do Outstanding Vocalist for my final project, specifically talking about Alicia Keys and John Mayer, who are both very popular artists today. Alicia Keys was born on January 25th, 1981, with the name Alicia Argello Cook. Alicia Keys is actually her stage name. She was born in New York City, and she's an R&B star, and she's a singer and also a pianist. Her musical background, she knows how to perform with the vocals, the piano, the cello, guitar, as well as the bass guitar. She started piano at the early age of 7. At age 12, she went to the School of Professional Performing Arts and actually graduated at the Valedictorian. Her albums include Songs in A Minor, which was released June 2001, with the #1 hit Fallen, which is still considered one of her biggest hits today. That song includes a very gospel feel to it, where she plays the piano and sings soulfully with a gospel choir singing Call and Return. It sold over 12 million copies. The next is The Diary of Alicia Keys. This one had a little bit more of a hip-hop feel to it. It had songs like You Don't Know My Name and If I Ain't Got You. Then in 2005, she released an album with MTV's Unplugged, where she did live acoustic versions of all of her songs, including Fallen and You Don't Know My Name, but also Wild Horses she performed with Adam Levine from Maroon 5, which is a song originally done by the Rolling Stones. This album also debuted as #1. Then her next album was As I Am in 2007, which had one of her biggest hits, No One. Then, in 2009, she released The Element of Freedom. Throughout her career, she's done many collaborations on other people's albums, including My Boo with Usher, Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind, and even a live performance with an old recording of Frank Sinatra. Her influences come from a wide variety of artists. First, there's Gladys Knight and the Pips, who's a gospel R&B soul singer from the late 60s. Then there's Aretha Franklin, who is a gospel, jazz, blues, R&B, and funk singer from the 60s, as well as Tupac Shakur, who was a hip-hop rapper from the 90s, and Marvin Gaye, who was popular in the 60s and 70s for his R&B, soul, and funk music. Along with all of these popular artists, she was also influenced by Beethoven because of her classical music background. So I tried embedding the YouTube codes, but they wouldn't work. So instead I'm going to do it through YouTube, just clicking on it like this. So the first clip is Gladys Knight and the Pips performing a song called If I Were Your Woman.
And you were my man. You'd have no other woman. You'd be weak as a lamb if you had the strength to walk out that door. My love would overrule my sense, and I'd call you back for more. If I were your woman, if I were your woman, you were my woman, and you were my man.
So that was Gladys Knight and the Pips, and then Alicia Keys actually did this same song for her album, The Diary of Alicia Keys. So we're going to look right in the song where Gladys Knight left off, Alicia Keys picking it up.
Head you down, darling, there's your nothing at all, but I'll pick you up, darling, when they let you go. You're like a diamond, but she treats you like glass. Get you back, I love you, for me you won't ask. If I were your woman, 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 I were your woman. That's what I do. I never know, stop loving you.
So with that, you can see that it's the same song. She redid Gladys Knight and the Pips song, If I Were Your Woman, but she adds a funky hip-hop sound to the background that's more modern and appropriate today, even though they have the same soulful singing along with it. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next artist that I wanted to spotlight, which is John Mayer. Born as October 16th, 1977 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Um, full name is John Clayton Mayer. He's a pop blues singer, sometimes one more than the other, and he is known for his singing and his guitar playing. His vocals are a lot different than Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys has a very soulful power vocal, where John Mayer's is kind of smooth and soft. His musical background, he attended 2 years of Berklee College of Music before he dropped out, and he can perform on guitar, vocals, harmonica, percussion, and violin and clarinet. He started playing the guitar at age 13 after becoming obsessed with it. His dad had rented one for him to learn on. He had started off originally in a band, and the band was called Villanova Junction, which is actually named after a Jimi Hendrix song. His albums, he released other albums with John Mayer Trio, which are a lot more bluesy, but these are his solo albums. The first one was released in 2001 by Columbia Records, and it had the single Your Body is a Wonderland on it. Then, in 2003, he released Heavier Things, which had the hit Daughters on it. In 2006, he released Continuum, which had the song Waiting on the World to Change, which is very big because of the political message that it held behind it. And then 2009, he released Battle Studies, called Who Says. And just recently, I think it was just a couple months ago, he released the album Born and Raised. And this one is a lot different from the other ones because the other ones are very pop, soft, with some blues tracks on it, where in 2012, Born and Raised is a country rock album. It has a lot more of a country feel to it. So I'm going to show you the video that actually inspired him to want to learn to play the guitar. It's what sparked his obsession, he said. So we're going to watch this one. It's from the movie Back to the Future.
Alright, this is an oldie, but well, it's an oldie where I come from. Alright guys, let's use the blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up, okay?
Okay, so that's a song from the very popular movie Back to the Future from the 80s. The song he was performing was Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. It was upon seeing this that John Mayer became obsessed with the guitar, so much so that his parents were concerned, and so they took him to psychiatrists who actually deemed him fine, and that it was just a healthy obsession that he had excelled. So now I'm going to talk about John Mayer's influences. The first one is Marty McFly, which is from the clip that we just saw in the movie Back to the Future. And again, the song that he was playing was by Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good, which Chuck Berry was big during the 50s of the first wave of rock and roll. Then the next influence I have is Eric Clapton, who was involved in the band Cream in the 60s. He's also a very skilled guitarist, playing multiple genres, but also the blues is where he excels as well as John Mayer. They're very similar in their musical style. There was actually a clip on Good Morning America where Eric Clapton and John Mayer performed Crossroads together, which was a Cream song that was a remake of Robert Johnson, who's actually the person in the bottom right photo is Robert Johnson, and Eric Clapton on the top left. And that was also on John Mayer's album, so Battle Studies, that album. Sorry, I was trying to remember which album. And so, yeah. And then there's Stevie Ray Vaughan, who was big. He's a big rock blues and actually a Texas blues, so it's blues with a southern feel to it. And then on the bottom left, we have Elton John, who I'd say is more of an influence of John Mayer's pop side, the softer vocals that And then the bottom right, I said blues in general because there's too many artists to name just one. That photo is Robert Johnson. And then my next clip is actually of John Mayer and B.B. King jamming together, a live performance. So we're going to start it. Hopefully it'll...
It's like stealing something from somebody right in front of them. Here's what I'm taking from your house. I'm taking your silverware. He's like, all right. Keep that up. I'm going to get up and go. You keep it up and we'll get him walk out of it. I got a sweet little angel. All right. Oh, I love the way she sped away from me. Oh, I got a sweet little angel. I love the way she spread away. Every time she spread away from me, I get joy in everything.
There you can see him jamming on the blues guitar together, and B.B. King, man, he still got it, even though he's a lot older. This is great to see them together, and you can directly see the influence that B.B. King has had on John Mayer. And again, that was a good example of John's smooth vocals that are impressive. So now I'm going to compare the two side by side. At first glance, they don't look very comparable. I mean, besides being successful artists of today, Alicia Keys is male or female, and John Mayer is male. Alicia Keys has a more soulful, powerful voice, where John Mayer is soft and smooth. Alicia Keys is a hip-hop artist, where John Mayer is a blues pop artist. And Alicia Keys plays the piano, where John plays the guitar. However, they did come together on Alicia Keys' album, As I Am. They had a single lesson learned. In this, it's mostly it's a softer song with a slow tempo. Alicia Keys is singing powerful vocals, where John Mayer is doing soft vocals in the background. And at first I was going to show you that clip, but because of time, I'm just going to show you the second clip I found, which is a live performance of Alicia Keys and John Mayer.
No sunshine when she's gone. This time wrong when she's away. No sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. No sunshine when it's gone. What's wrong with these ways? No sunshine when it's gone.
So that was a song they had performed together live. It's Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. And so there you could see how actually John's soft vocals and Alicia's strong vocals came together and actually performed a very great sound. And they both loved the funk type music that Bill Withers sang, and so John was able to play a bluesy guitar version of it, and it actually worked beautifully. So yeah, this is my presentation.